Korean word.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
How do you do it? You just press it and it.
To be said.
And those are your letters.
To be said. Just press the
Would
button.
they run out of names or something?
So it's on 2 minutes now?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
you know, let the button.
But I mean, that's,
Now begin.
it has a meaning. Now, are they wrong? Are they-
My parents,
Yes,
yeah,
you did.
I'm.
I think
Right.
I did. Looks good, yeah.
My son did a study of.
There's a first time for everybody.
Yeah.
So did I.
KU.
Aloha mai kako.
Mai-
This. Okay. This meeting of the Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Iki Neighborhood Board is now in session. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you all. You know, if you keep this up, we'll get a bigger room and make this routine. I'm Clarissa Burkert, the chair for the neighborhood board for those who are here for the first time. I'd like to welcome first our Honolulu firefighters to give their report. Our first responders always come first. And we know that we come first for them. And so we're very grateful to them for their service. Come up, guys.
All right. Can you hear me?
Give it another go.
Okay, check. Sound good?
Okay, try again.
Hello? Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Emmett Hall. I'm the fire captain at the Wailupe Fire Station. And tonight I'm going to provide some information as well as the monthly statistics. First up, regarding some previous questions at the last meeting, the all hazard statewide outdoor warning siren system is maintained by the state, not the city and county. They are tested on the first business day of the month. And if you need more information, dod.hawaii.gov/HIEMA. Additionally, on the fire.honolulu.gov website, there is an incident trend dashboard and fire response search tool that you can use. The search tool will allow users to locate recent incidents, and that is fire.honolulu.gov. So the statistics for August, we had 3 structure fires. We had 3 activated alarms with no fire. We had 45 medical incidents, 3 motor vehicle collisions, 1 motor vehicle accident involving a pedestrian, 1 ocean rescue, and 1 hazardous material response. And now the fire safety tip. The National Fire Protection Association's Fire Prevention Week campaign kicks off with a message about lithium-ion batteries. They store a lot of energy in a small place, and the batteries can overheat easily, start a fire, or even explode. By learning how to buy, charge, and recycle these batteries safely, you can help prevent a fire in your home. Buy only listed products that contain the UL, ETL, or CSA label. This means that it meets important safety standards. Charge your devices safely. Always use cords that came with the product or a cord.
Big brother's there.
All righty, here we go. So like I was saying, don't use a charger that didn't come with the product. If you're going to buy a new charger, buy it from the manufacturer of the device. Also, don't throw away lithium-ion batteries in the trash or regular recycling bins because they can start a fire. Visit call2recycle.org to find a recycling spot near you. And lastly, the HFD is hosting a Fire Prevention Family Day on October 4th at the Honolulu Zoo from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and wants everybody to bring out your family to participate in activities and meet our fire and life safety partners. So with that said, does the board have any questions?
Can you state the date again of the family event?
October 4th, 2025.
Are there any questions from our from our audience, from our board members? Andrea, do you want to make a comment regarding your response, or do you feel it's appropriate to just mention a few things at this time, even though we'll be coming back to you later? Yeah, because they're going to leave after this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name's Andrea Wagner. I live at 672 Lave Lave Street. As some of you know, last week, Thursday at 4:30 in the morning, my husband awoke to see an orange glow in the sky out our window. It was a little shocking to be awakened by the call of fire, call 911. Our next door neighbor had started a fire in his house that spread throughout the house. We did what we could to protect the house, but without these guys, without the crews from, I think crews from Kaimuki and McCully, I'm not sure where else, we wouldn't have a house. Our neighbor 2 doors down was not as lucky. But thank you. Very careful.
Are there any questions for
You're welcome.
our brave firefighters? You see any questions? I don't. Richard? Oh, online. Go ahead, Richard.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. I'm a resident of Upper Ainahaina, but have some concerns about the fire debris potentially spreading in high winds that might accompany the storm that's coming in the upcoming week. I'm just wondering if HFD might have any input based on experiences learned from Lahaina, or any other information that they could share with the community about addressing this potential concern.
Well, we don't have any specific input at this time regarding any potential storms, other than that good housekeeping amongst neighbors is very important. So keeping debris away from your house, making sure that the what am I trying to say? The brush and wooded areas that encroach on sort of our wildland urban interface, that it's kept neat and tidy, and that there's not a lot of debris piled up between the houses. Good housekeeping, avoiding overpacking in garages and things like that also. But no specific information with regards to any approaching storm at this time.
Okay, I appreciate that input in terms of fire prevention. I guess I was asking more in terms of potential pollution issues from potentially hazardous materials that as a result of the combustion products that occurred from that fire. If we have a hurricane or tropical storm or high wind event that occurs, is there a risk to the larger community for fire debris being spread throughout the neighborhood? Is there anything that we can do to address this?
I'll have to do some research and follow up on that question. Unfortunately, I don't have information for you at this time.
Understood. If there's a way to, obviously, the storm is forecast to be on Hawaii by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, so time is of the essence in addressing this. I personally don't have firsthand knowledge of the situation with this individual, but my understanding is the likelihood of him doing any cleanup on his own is probably less than zero. So just wondering if, there might be any recommendations for addressing that, if not from HFD, from other parties on the call.
Thank you for the question, Richard. It's a good one, very appropriate. We may have some input from our audience. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm very concerned about the Wailupi stream. It's been a very dry year. They did maintain the stream last April, but the weeds are back and they're all brown. And that runs right down the center of Aina Haina. And if that bugger goes up with any kind of winds, we could lose the whole valley, in my opinion. And hate to throw it in your corner, but it's a very scary situation. I don't know if you've seen the stream, but it's not good. And it's drier than dry right now. Thank you.
We have another question from Memo. Come up. Oh, microphone. Please let Representative
job
Hashem
is
in.
the
He may be
street
able to assist
keep
us
it
as
from
well.
flooding again. But I did notice, I did go over to Andrea's house to check out the 2 houses that were burned and checked out the stream. And I'm surprised the stream didn't go up because it is a nightmare. The,
Memo, can you please stand so we can
Yes.
hear you better?
yes, when they did cut the stream, they didn't clear off all the trees and it is just, I'm surprised it didn't go up with the houses going up. So you might want to check that area too, and put in a word to Gene Albano to get that stream taken care of. Thank you.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, this is, oh,
No, ma'am. We were a little bit occupied with the fire itself. Yes. Just to confirm, stream maintenance is not Honolulu Fire Department's. So I appreciate you folks' concern, but you may be talking to the wrong person
Oh,
about.
we don't want it
the
to
Wailupi
become
stream.
a concern.
So we will pass it along. Yes, of
Yes.
course. We always pass along all the
Okay.
community concerns. I'm just not sure might be above my pay grade.
Okay. Go ahead, Tim.
hi, thanks for your ongoing help to the community. It's really appreciated. It helped me out with my incident back in February. The first responders were the fire brigade. Thank you. On another note, all these good notes and messages, do you have a website, or is it possible for the city and county? For example, I have a thing about paint cans. Me and some of my neighbors have done some decorations, and we haven't got a clue where to really put empty paint cans.
Paint cans? Paint cans.
Paint cans.
Okay, your British accent is
Yeah.
getting me.
Mine's proper, yours is. Anyway, we're not allowed to put them on the curb. They're not for bulky pickup. You can't put them in the gray bin. Nobody knows if you can put them in the blue bin. However, if we ever have a fire, and your comment about overstocked garages, a large portion of that when they go boom is through paint cans.
So, sir, rubbish disposal, opala.org. That'll have all the instructions you need on paint cans,
Yeah.
oxygen bottles, oil, anything. Opala.org. With regards to safety messages, fire.honolulu.gov is a great
I
resource.
just was wondering if it's possible to have a flyer put out from you and the police and the ambulance service with a whole list of shortcuts and comments for good housekeeping. Because not everybody knows about .com, .org or whatever, .gov.
Sort of waste.
Anyway, thanks for your service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tim, and welcome back. Please.
Hi, good evening. Lieutenant Thompson from District 7. Oh, please. Oh, sorry.
Hello. Hi, go ahead.
The stats from August, there was 2 motor vehicle thefts with 1 reported the previous month.
Oh. Excuse me, sir. We're gonna get right to you. We have just one more question for the
Oh,
firefighters.
apologies. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
I had, with regards to paint cans, I believe if you go to the website, they talk about, city says, leave the lids open so that they dry. So if they're not liquid, you can put them in the gray cans. City Mill has, an additive that you can mix into the paint cans, causes the paint to turn into jello, and then it's acceptable to throw in the gray cans. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to get rid of it.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Any other questions for our firefighters? Well, thank you for helping out Andrea and her husband, and we hope that you don't have a bunch of fires to have to worry about next week. But I think people are thinking about Lahaina with the upcoming hurricanes, so it's good that people are getting ready and asking questions. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, next we have Honolulu Police Department. Sir, please go ahead.
Hi, Lieutenant Thompson from District 7. The stats from August, 2 motor vehicle thefts with 1 previous, 3 burglary cases with 6 previous, 6 thefts with 9 previous, and 1 authorized entry to motor vehicle or car break-in with 1 previous as well. Total calls for service for the month of August is 5,882. The safety tip for the month with what's going on with the accidents and stuff, and to kick off the Chiefs Drive Aloha campaign, I'm going to go over the 10 safe driving tips for 2025 as put out by the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration. And first one is buckle up. Every trip, every time. Wearing your seatbelt can save your life. Ensure children are in the right car seat that's appropriate for their age and size. Drive sober. Driving impaired is dangerous and it's deadly. It's illegal to drive impaired by any substance, alcohol, or drugs. And being a responsible driver is simple. If you're impaired, do not drive. Pay attention to the road. Distracted driving is a big cause for a lot of accidents, but talking, eating, texting on your phone, and not paying attention to the road could put you and other people in danger. Obey the speed limits. That's, speed puts you and your passengers, all the people you share the road with, in unnecessary danger. Gives you less reaction time for conditions such as an accident ahead or water on the roadway. So, if in doubt, slow down. Never drive drowsy. Make sure you're awake and alert while you're driving. Driving drowsy could be just as bad as driving drunk. Share the road responsibly with other motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians. Pay attention and look out for each other. Talk to teen drivers. The young drivers, more chances that they take risks, and just be a good role model for them and talk about good driving to their teen drivers. Check for recalls. Make sure your car is in proper operating condition. You can check NHTSA.gov for recalls on your vehicle to make sure that any safety recalls are addressed. And this ends with a safer 2025 starts with you. And just pay attention to the road and drive with aloha. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. We have a question from Board Member Tim Stanton.
I can't hear you, sir.
In the last 2 weeks. Hello?
Hi.
There we go.
Much better.
Okay. Hi. The last 2 weeks on the periphery, I was unfortunately involved in 5 motor accidents.
Oh my.
So when is the city county going to come out and make some proclamations about sharing the road, and those that share the road understand what it means? In other words, these 5 incidents didn't involve me physically, but I observed them and I went to help. They involved the bicycle lane, and 2 cyclists were racing each other going from Einheine to town. And they veered into the first traffic lane, nearly causing an accident. The driver tooted the horn, that's an English expression, and they gave the finger. One of them bashed into the car door, and they tried to speed off by going across a red light on the sidewalk, pedestrian crossing. The other were e-bikes. Now, as I understand it, where I come from, to get on the road, you have to pass a test. Doesn't matter what. And I believe in Scandinavian countries, pedestrians also have to undergo tests. If there's an accident, the chances are that cyclists of one form or another are going to come off worse. So the question these people were asking is, who's going to fix my door? Well, you're supposed to have insurance. Well, what about the drivers of the vehicles? Because they are vehicles, although on 2 wheels. So the responsibility to me seems to be with the city, county, to evolve some rules for everybody. Now, I understand what you're saying about common sense with all of us, especially some of us like me that were born in 1846. But nevertheless, it seems terribly unfair in Hawaii for people to jump on a bicycle, go in a bicycle lane. There's facilities made for 2-wheel bicycles. But this came to a head over the weekend when there was an e-bike in Ever doing a wheelie. He didn't have a helmet, and unfortunately he died. So that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, so some of the e-bikes are actually considered electric motorcycles, and rules of the road for motorcycles apply to those. And I think the one in Eva was considered an electric motorcycle. If it was a bike, I don't think it would have been classified as a traffic accident. There's been ongoing campaigns this year. I've seen them on TV. The chief has one. There's a lot of sign waving events to educate for traffic safety awareness, not only for bikes, but for pedestrians and cars and drivers as well. This year has been a terrible year for accidents. There's also enforcement and education that's coming out on our end, that the chief is part of the Chief's Drive Aloha campaign that started, I believe, last week, and will be going on for the near future. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Lieutenant Thompson, do we have, let me just mention something. Richard, okay. Lieutenant Thompson, would you be able to stay on, stay online with us till 7:20? Because there's going to be a concern, a fire in our neighborhood where we could really, we'd really appreciate your advice on how to prevent something like that from happening later. You want me to bring her? Andrea, can you come up, please? While we have our police officers on the line, if you could just mention or ask for help when people see something scary going on next door, how they can report it and who to report it to. Like the homeless with the campfires.
Okay, the situation is the house next to us for the past 5 years had new owners. For the past 3 years, it's been the husband living in the house in deteriorating mental capacity, and moving in homeless. His brother's been there. The brother occasionally has brought in apparently homeless women. We suspect there may have been drug activity, but didn't see or smell anything to indicate what might be going on. It's just the behavior that bothered us. Our neighbor Alan on the other side of the house, whose home was burnt out in last week's fire, had windows broken on 2 separate occasions in August by this individual. The individual started the fires last week. From the way Alan has described what he saw, there were 2 separate fires started. What concerns us is that individual is back on the property with his brother. He has been going through the property, moving items. He set up a small camping tent on the property to live in. We know that in the past year at least, he and those living on his property were going to the bathroom on the property. They also would start small fires, originally on the ground, then in a small kettle for cooking. When my husband saw the neighbor come back, he asked him about the fire last week. The neighbor said he had not started it because he doesn't cook. Well, they're doing fires again on the property. In talking to neighbors, I've had a lot of people come to me last Thursday and since, talking to me about what they've seen. Concerns started with the neighbor following women, including one woman up to her door. There were also altercations with children and incidents where he was apparently staring at children, staring in houses. Nobody reported anything. We've all been very good about being tolerant. And in my case, I was concerned about calling because frankly, after Diamond Head, I don't want any more officers hurt. But something has to be done. And I was really, really upset when I found out last week that in the investigation of the fire, they found ammunition. And then my husband told me he had seen the individual at one point carrying a rifle. So I am deeply concerned. This is an unstable individual. What do we do?
The start would be to report the suspicious activity right away. Just call and then we can determine, if a crime has been committed, if the people that are being harassed are followed by him, to call, generate some kind of paper trail. If it's not illegal or there's nothing, but at least a paper trail, moving forward. The more we're there, I think if he's inviting other people in the neighborhood, it might be a deterrent for the people to come if we're there more often. But if anything's suspicious, please call. Just report it.
Okay, I've tried that. And others have tried it. I called last Thursday when I saw the owner's son or brother on the property. There's a yellow tape across the property that says do not cross. So I called. Honestly, the officer who answered was not particularly receptive. However, there was an officer who was set out. We saw him meet with the brother and then leaving the brother on the property. Last night, I woke up to hear the neighbor yelling and swearing as he is in the habit of doing. After about 10 minutes, I finally did call HPD and officers did come out, talk to the neighbor, and after that, he was quiet. I guess our concern is how do we remove this individual from the community before he causes another disaster?
Yeah, at this time, I don't think there's anything preventing him from going back to the property. I don't think the property is being held for any kind of investigation or I'm not sure if there's any condemned or anything to go with the property at this time to keep him away. You just have to call. If there's yelling, please call. If there's any suspicious behavior or activity, please call. That for now, that's all what can be done right now.
Okay, thank you.
A question from Sherry? Does it relate to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not enough for someone to report that gun being waved around, and that's not enough to have the officer come out and look for that gun, and her reporting it to you isn't good enough?
Sorry, it came in a little bit mumbled.
Been on? Don't. Yeah. Okay. Is it not enough that she reports it to you, because that's why they came to the neighborhood board? And if someone reports to any officer that they've seen a gun or a rifle, is that not enough to bring the police department there to look for it, to search for it, and the cause of the
It would-
fire? I mean,
It would have to be a recent like happening now. If it's something that happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, we can't go into the property and go look for that gun.
Right. I'm not sure when it happened. My husband just told me last week, if I had known before that there was a gun on the property, I would have behaved quite differently. I
Right.
had no idea. And with the fire, I hope the gun was destroyed or disabled. I don't know.
Well, my question for the police department is if it's reported at any time, that's not good enough. They have to report it like right now. It's not good to, what if it happened last week? The gun is probably still there. I'm very confused by this very passive attitude.
From my understanding, the fire was the ATF was at the fire. I'm not sure what was recovered as far as firearms or ammunition. But nothing was determined to be unlawful with that.
Please go ahead. Tim.
Surely the issue here is it doesn't matter the time. It's the fact that there's a rifle, which is an armament. And surely in America, the person with that implement is supposed to have a license. Surely the police can do a check and to see, for example, I'm not casting aspersion on these folks, I don't know them, but in a typical instance, they'll be able to trace back the license number and see if there's a record. And if it's somebody who has a record, I'm under the impression as a layperson, they're not supposed to own armaments. And that would be a start, surely.
And that's all correct if we get there and we catch the person in possession with a rifle and we can determine if it's a legal possession or not. But if it's after the fact and the person doesn't have it, we can't determine if that's a real one or a fake one. We can't just assume that getting their, information that's 2, 3 a month later on. That call would have to be done immediately and we'd have to catch him in possession with it unless he presents it to us. But in the real world, that doesn't happen very often.
Lieutenant Thompson, I know in these situations, a lot of times folks are told to establish a paper trail, but time and time again, what we hear happens is that officers are reluctant to file paperwork, press charges, maybe criminality is questionable, they're not sure it's a slam dunk. Do people have a right to request a police report even if the officer's determination is no crime was committed?
Yes. And it's
should insist in these types of situations just to establish that paper trail.
Oftentimes the reports are made anonymous and the caller does not wish to meet with us.
Okay.
Enforcement becomes difficult when we get there and what people call a complaint on is not observed by the officers that respond. And we have no other witness or a person to fall back on to verify that complaint. So we get there and, maybe if it's a loud noise and we get there and the noise is not going on when we get there, we have no way to verify that it did happen. So if you meet with the officer, explain the situation, provide a statement, request a police report, a police report will be made.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question from Richard first. Richard, I'm sorry, you're harder to see since you're on the screen. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I have multiple questions actually. First, is it actually legal to camp on your property if there are no septic or wastewater services available to use?
I'm not sure I'm not sure if that's a Department of Health issue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So would that be something that persons who are concerned about that could make a complaint to building department, Department of Health, something like that?
Yeah, and maybe even permit if the structure is unsafe.
Uh-huh. So that's my kind of follow-up question is the procedure for having a structure condemned, does that go through building department?
You know, I'm not sure who that goes through.
Okay. And then I guess, you know, just to be completely forthright here, I think the issue that a lot of people I believe are concerned about is the fact that, you know, this individual has a mental health issue. It's a really tragic story from what I understand. The gentleman is a former Navy officer, experienced some hardships, you know, with family issues. I have no information about what that is, but obviously for any you know, person who served for a long time in the military and served our country, to be going through a situation like this and experiencing this is a really terrible situation for him, and also for the community. And so would be good to know if there are any options available, any resources available, that we can have this individual, you know, directed towards. Obviously incarceration isn't the answer for this guy, but like he needs help. And there's no way that I wouldn't imagine that he's going to go seek out that help on his own. So do you have any input in terms of things that, you know, concerned individuals could do, or you know, is there an option available for mental health assistance to try and address the situation?
We take people in for mental health evaluation, but they have to be an immediate threat to themselves or others. It has to be something that's going on at that moment. I'm not sure if the VA offers something in outreach for people that they suspect, you know, if someone was to ask the VA to go check on this person, I'm not sure if there's something that they offer. We do offer referrals to CORE and to other mental health, but it'd be something where we're dealing with them and they don't meet the criteria for our immediate mental health custody, so to speak. And then we would offer a less restrictive way of the outreach comes out to them.
So when you say an immediate, the individual has to be an immediate threat, what exactly do you mean? I mean, because burning down your house and your neighbor's house doesn't constitute an immediate threat?
Well, I'm not sure through that investigation if that was they ruled the fire as accidental. But immediate threat would be somebody sitting on the edge of the freeway and about to jump. Somebody threatening suicide immediately at that moment.
So a threat to himself, his person, not to others.
Or others. Like someone walking in traffic and you know, through mental health reasons, they're just sitting in traffic or walking in traffic and they're a danger to themselves or others, and it's immediate and they're doing it at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to take them in for mental health evaluation.
I see. Thank you.
We have okay, we have another, sir, we have two more questions for you. Thank you for helping us with this difficult issue
problem.
because we don't know where to go with this person. Lisa, are you online?
Yes. Hi. I live across the street of the house that burned, and I have been waking up in the middle of the night when I smell burning. And so I peer out my front window, and what I see is you don't start a barbecue to cook at 1:30 in the morning and have flames leaping 6 feet in the air. Okay. So what my concern is, it's chronic because it was happening on a regular basis because it would wake me up, the smoke and the sounds, and it's terrifying. And I witnessed, I think it was yesterday, that the brother was walking on other people's property looking for water. And what I'm just want to discuss is that life on the property without any utilities, any wastewater, any running water, portable water, any electricity or gas means we're going to expect more bonfires. How he starts them, I don't know, because he's going to need to cook and eat, and he's going to need water to survive. So I see them, walking in people's yards. What do? Call 911?
Yes. So the homeowners that they trespass on would have to file trespassing complaints. And they would have to provide a statement and meet with officers, and we will not trespass someone that without the homeowner's word, because that's what it will have to take.
Okay, so me seeing it's not going to
One
be
more.
anything. Okay.
You could
Thank
call
you.
it in, and you could call in and provide a witness statement for it, and then we'd have to call the homeowner to verify prosecution.
Okay.
Lisa, okay, Janine, please go ahead. Janine?
Hi, aloha. I just wanted to see if I could share the picture of the home, and I know it can be very disturbing to look at, and I apologize to Andrea for sharing, but when you look at this picture, there is no way that that man can be living on that property. It is burnt out. That I can't understand why anybody wouldn't arrest somebody trying to live on that property.
It's hard to
So
see
if
from here. Let's see.
I'm sorry, but it shows the whole entire property is covered with black everything. And I think that if a person is doing something like that, I mean, it hurts communities to have something like this happen to them, because it is like a cancer. It's going to grow. Every single resident in that area is going to be fearful now because of that one person. We have to figure out a way to get him off of his property, whether it's condemning it, making sure that he's not there anymore, because these neighbors cannot keep doing this. This is really unacceptable. And we are going to need HPD to help us with that. We will need the city to help us with that. And we will need the state to help us with that, because this cannot go on. I'm sorry, it cannot.
Yeah, I'm gonna clear some of this. When this first started, I was neighborhood watch chair for our area and had a very good captain with whom I interacted, and I contacted him for help. He pointed me to agencies to contact. I don't remember what they were. This was 2 or 3 years ago. But the response that I got then is the same that people are reporting to me now as they are trying to find help. A, he's not homeless, they can't help. B, unless he asks for help, they can't help. The VA said, very nice gentleman actually at the Navy, said if I had a telephone number they could call. But nobody would step up and do anything. And they all told me, call HPD, which is not an answer. I have here, I meant to give this to you. Alan couldn't be here tonight. He's so upset. He was afraid he'd break down. But he wrote a statement. And I tried to put everything that I've observed that's been going on in writing Some of you get my monthly email, so you've already seen some of it. Some of it I updated. So
So Andrea, we can add it, you're not allowed to put it in? Oh, okay, we can.
you can look
so
at
you
it.
can put it on
You
the
can look at it
next-
for your information,
Okay,
because this has been ongoing. I have tried. The last I heard, the wife showed up Saturday to talk to Alan. Very sad about what happened, gave him insurance information. But from everything that I've heard, family member is the only one who can actually get anything done. Supposedly, she is now trying to do something with the Navy. I don't know if that's true. Kind of upset that it took 3 years and a disaster to get her to act.
Andrea, thank you for telling us about what you've tried to do. And this issue is something that is going to need to be worked on and very persistently. I apologize. We've now spent about over 30 minutes on it.
Very important.
Okay, one quick thing.
For the community, what you need to do, and the police have told us this, you need to put signs on your property that say private property, no trespassing. You have to put that on your property so that when that person trespasses for water or looking in your windows or standing there looking at the moon, that you can call the police and he can be arrested. Otherwise, they can't arrest. You have to do that. If he's making bonfires at any time of day or night, you call the fire department. Anytime there's an infraction, you have to call the police. You have to insist on a record, a number, so that they can keep the paper trail. And because we've had that in our community, we live in the Wildlife Golf Course. We had 2 homes like that. And the home did catch on fire twice. But we had to just consistently and persistently make calls to the fire department and to, it was like a hoarder house. Anyway, it's a long story. It's kind of like what you went through. And you just have to call in every infraction, but you must put signs on your property that say private property, no trespassing. Otherwise, the police can't help you.
Okay. We will, Tim, is this regarding this issue? I can.
Yes. No.
And I understand anybody, it's never difficult. But what you're all saying is keep a record. Keep dipping away.
Yes.
Obviously, if somebody reports something, one of the first things the police do, and hopefully the fire department can do, is look up somebody's record. And that's understandable. It doesn't mean it's a police state, but the police do not want to send somebody in there into a possible dangerous situation. But that begs the question. The police have the ability to look at people's records. And I'm flummoxed why this isn't done more often. Because the guys that were just standing here and had to go and put that fire out with not knowing there was a rifle, they could have been in all sorts of trouble if that guy eventually flipped his lid. So my question is, everybody has got to be on the same boat. It doesn't matter. I know it's going to take time of watching up or watching the TV, but make a consistent record, because then the police can turn around and say, oops, yeah, look at this. When we look this guy up, there's a record. And, 3 years have gone by, and there should be a really strong record.
Thank you, Tim. Well, I hope it's not going to be another 3 years.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, if you do a TRO, it's 100 feet. If you live within 100 feet of this guy, you do a TRO, he can't even go home. And if he shows up, then the police can arrest him. It lasts for 3 years. If you see an attorney, you can write it out really well. That's what happened to me. I had to do a TRO on someone before. And then you can get it renewed every 3 years. So I've had a friend who had a TRO on someone for 9 years, and you just get it renewed. So if you're the actual like neighbor of this person and you're within 100 feet, do a TRO. I mean, that's just my suggestion. That would empower the police to arrest the guy.
Oh, thank you, Kalani. All right. Are there any other? Oh, okay. We are going to move ahead in our agenda. So we've had all the city and state monthly reports. And Andrea, thank you for sharing. And I really, we really feel badly for everybody on your street. And this is going to be something that is going to have to be fixed. Let's go on to board business. We have board vacancies and an officer's election that we need to get to. So I'd like to start with the board vacancies. We have one board vacancy in Lower Wailaiki. Is there anyone here who would like to volunteer to serve on the neighborhood board in Lower Wailaiki? Okay, moving on. We have a vacancy in along Mid-Wailaiki Ridge, which is our sub-district number 2. Is there anyone who would like to represent sub-district number 2 on the neighborhood board? Okay, pass the word. All right. Next is sub-district number 5, Kainani and the Wailupe Peninsula. If anyone would like to serve in that sub-district, please let us know and come to the next meeting. We have a vacancy in sub-district number 7, which is Hawaiiloa Ridge. Do we have any volunteers to serve to represent Hawaiiloa Ridge? Okay. And in New Valley, New Valley is sub-district number 7. Am I right? Hawaiiloa Ridge and New Valley are together in sub-district number 7. So we have 2 vacancies for New Valley and Hawaiiloa Ridge. Does anyone in this? Yes. Kaui Lucas, you were from that sub-district. Would you like to come up to the mic, please? Welcome back, Howie. We have some new members on the board and also people who are participating in our audience. Could you please tell us a little about yourself and why you would like to be on the neighborhood board?
My name is Kaui Lucas. I live in Niu and I grew up in the area. I live in the back of Niu, and I've been involved with a lot of area organizations like Mauna Lua Fish Pond Heritage Center, and I used to be at Calvary by the Sea Lutheran Church. And I'm have been on this board for, I'm not sure how long, but maybe like 5-ish years. And it's a great community, and I enjoy learning about what's going on here and meeting my neighbors.
Thank you. May I have a motion to recommend Kaui Lucas to represent sub-district 7?
So moved.
Wait. We're getting to that.
I nominate Kaui Lucas to be in sub-district 4.
Second. Thank you.
Sorry, she's in sub-district 7.
Yes. All right. Will all board members who are here and right. Are there Are there any other people who want to represent Sub-District 7 and run for this office? Okay. We're doing vacancies. Okay. So the recommendation for Kali Lucas to serve for Sub-District number 7 on this board is closed. We will now vote to re-elect or to have Kali Lucas join us on the board. And will all of those here on the board who agree with having Kali Lucas join us, please say aye or raise your hand. Okay. Anyone say nay? Does anyone abstain? No. Congratulations, Kali, and
Thank you.
thank you for joining us.
To save that thing.
We're going to take a recess to swear her in, please. There's a restroom here if anyone needs to use it. But this won't take long.
I got one yet. Just to do it now.
Yeah, yeah. Much better.
And sit here to see them.
I want to.
Guys, how about
Test.
Just leave it on,
Yep, right in the middle, pointing at your mouth.
See my back.
No.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I know you.
Oh, no, Jim, that's right.
Uh-huh. Yes. One of the people. Yeah, we got great.
Well, we'll put it on the agenda for October.
Always.
For you, it's the
I
bigger
still
one,
haven't
yeah.
heard back. Oh, Nathan Sirota, he did say get it in.
Yeah. It's like,
You guys are great. So I'm gonna just.
okay. Yeah.
Help her. We're dealing with problem getting this.
I didn't want to interfere with the lieutenant over there, but you know, number one.
Yes.
These
My
guys
son
have had a
is down
problem.
there. He's working to fight and get in the class visa. And the clinics are doing their.
Yeah, you know, but it's all that.
No, I've been going to public meeting for 30 years.
Yes, welcome back.
We got 2 weeks.
I was drinking.
Oh.
Well.
Mikey Samari.
Awkward, I whether you two do. So what's he made right?
I've got a quorum. I can do it, Rex. I don't want to, you know, something, but I checked it.
And they were just three.
He's with that.
You know, and then we got the whole face.
But should be under, should be making a statement.
That's a place that.
But how much, how they, and 20% of the kids.
Yeah. Right after they finish. Right. Since
There's a lot of these.
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
It's just like Germany.
Yeah.
Germany pushed together.
So you're in.
What happened?
I live on Waiho, like the lower, 3 doors down from Becca.
Many use it.
Because I'm on a base. I'm on the other side, I'm on this side. There's,
Where's that? Town by town?
Yeah.
no, it's on the. If you- right there. And then I said the second sheet from Kalani.
Okay, it is chilly in here. You guys are
So, we were very lucky.
We're right there.
And, so, like,
As long
they
as-
didn't realize that.
As long as discussion, we're long about lighting. I'm just trying to get back on the agenda, but that was appreciate you. Okay, 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 we'll do. Okay.
Oh.
Miami side. And I read abandoned park.
Here today. Okay.
Out the window.
Either that or try to come in and.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I cut over this all the.
Yeah.
Lot of issues.
This meeting is now back in order. Please come and sit down. We will continue with board business.
How's the printer go?
Our next item of board business is election of the neighborhood board vice chair. The election was postponed from our last meeting in order to allow for consideration of former board member and vice chair Cowie Lucas. She is now back on the board and is willing to serve as vice chair. So nominations are now open in order for the office of vice chair. Yes,
I
I'll take
nomin-
first nomination.
I nominate Cowie Lucas for vice chair of neighborhood board number 2.
I second it.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. Hearing none, the nominations are now closed. All in favor of electing Cowie Lucas to the vice chair position, please say aye or raise your hand. Any objecting, please say no. Nay. And anybody abstaining? You can't abstain on yourself.
No.
No. Congratulations, Cowie Lucas, and we're all very happy that you're back.
Doesn't she have to sit next to you?
That's okay.
I'm joking.
Okay, we will now discuss approval of the regular meeting minutes from August 6th, which have been distributed. So actually, does anyone have any corrections to the minutes before we vote on approving them? Yes, Sherry.
On page 3, down in the middle, under the approval of minutes, a recorrection of a correction. Right in the middle, page 3 of 5, under approval of June 4th minutes. Right in the middle where it says response was Wailupe Iki Park. Since there's no such animal, it was actually Wailaiki Neighborhood Park. Thank you.
Are there any other corrections? If not, the minutes are approved as corrected. Thank you. We'll now revisit the public input for items not on the agenda. And the first item was the fire on Lavi Street. And I wanted to make sure that the residents were able to get recommendations from the fire department and the police. So I think we discussed that as much as we could for now. Now the real work begins. Would you? Yes, are there any other concerns?
Yes, Stephanie Spangler, Waialae Golf Course Community. And in follow-up to last month's meeting where we had approximately 12 community members up and down the highway discussing the traffic modernization signal and the trucks parking inside neighborhoods. We got the very next day after that meeting, a letter from Council Chair Tommy Waters, directed to Ed Sniffen, Director, Department of Transportation, and Roger Morton, Director, Department of Transportation Services. It reads, "Dear Directors Sniffen and Morton, thank you for your continued efforts to modernize our transportation infrastructure and improve traffic flow across Oahu. I'm writing in support of the Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Iki Neighborhood Board and residents of Waialae Kahala who have expressed strong opposition to the proposed staging of construction equipment on residential streets for the upcoming Kalani-Anaole Highway Traffic Signal Modernization Project. At the August 6, 2025 meeting of the Kuli'ou'ou Neighborhood Board, many concerned residents testified regarding the health, safety, and noise impacts of staging heavy equipment in close proximity to homes. In May 2017, the Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Iki Neighborhood Board passed a resolution opposing the use of residential streets by DOT work trucks and requested a traffic control plan for the Kalani-Anaole Highway resurfacing project. That same concern for safety and quality of life remains today. I respectfully request that the state and city find areas to stage construction equipment that minimize disruption to residential neighbors. I also ask that the Kalani-Anaole Highway Traffic Signal Modernization Project plans be presented at an upcoming Kuli'ou'ou Neighborhood Board meeting to share details and hear community feedback. Please don't hesitate to contact me or Adam Dew of my staff at phone number. Thank you for your consideration and partnership in serving our communities. Mahalo, Council Chair Tommy Waters. And I just want to thank Council Chair Tommy Waters for writing that letter of support. I know the communities greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Is Adam online? Okay. Are there any more concerns or issues that you would like to raise? Yes.
It's
Introduce yourself.
Kevin Mulkern, Susan Mulkern's husband. Yeah. I recently got back from Hilo, and it's hard for me to sit through the meetings and hear the police reports, which are primarily about crime, and again of the burning house, which was tragic. It seemed like should have been something we could have done to prevent that. But when I was in Hilo, the newspaper, the Hawaii Tribune Herald, had a neat column in it, and it was kind of similar to what we have been asking the police department for the last 25 years. And basically what it is, it's citizens arrested and charged. And I guess to me, it's kind of good news when, let's say, Lisa Lucky Meafu, 41, of Pahoa, with contempt of court. So someone is being actually arrested and getting the help that they needed. Or Janet Machado of Volcano House, domestic abuse. So hopefully he's getting the help that he needs. But these to me it's a list of, it might seem kind of sad, but rather than being told our neighbors have been robbed, a car has been broken into, arson has happened down the street, we're seeing a list of success stories, and hopefully the people are getting the help that they need. But it angers me that the first time we asked for this information from the police, it was to Police Chief Lee Donahue, and I think his response was back in 2020, where does it go? July 6th of 2000. It was just a couple years ago. This information is not readily available. So it was refreshing to know that in a small town like Hilo, the information is readily available, and they are proud of what their police are doing, and they're getting these people the help they need. Thank you.
Good point. I'd like to invite Sandra Funt and and Machiko Wada to the table, to the mic, please, to tell about the wonderful work that they've been doing.
Aloha Chair and members. My name is Sandra Fund and this is Michiko Wada. I was here last month about the streetlights out on Anali'i Street, and still the streetlights are out on Anali'i Street. So if we could get an update on that. But secondly, I was here last month and we were told that there was a request for input about whether leashed dogs or off-leash dogs should be allowed in parks in this neighborhood board area. And we are dog walkers, dog people, and we wanted to see if there was support in our community for leashed dogs in Wailaiki Park. There are many people walking dogs there as it is already. So we went around and we asked everyone in our neighborhood, because we know everyone because we walk dogs. We have a strong network of people who are a good community together because of our love for our pets and for our ability to make friends with our neighbors, because we walk around and look at the neighborhood all the time with everyone. So Michiko and I went around with our petition and we received 187 names saying they support leash dogs within Wailaiki Park. And we have the addresses listed on the petition, and they are all, if you want to check them, all around the park itself. People from Wailaiki Ridge signed it also. They come down because it's so hilly and they come down to the park and that area to walk their dogs. Ola and Wa'a, where Michiko's side of the neighborhood, and regular park users as well. A lot of the pickleball players and all that bring their dogs while they play. And even the soccer parents bring their dogs while they watch their kids. So the Parks Department is asking for this input because right now it seems like it's a criminal act to walk your dog near the park or at the park. And it's a shame for police to have to be monitoring something like this when there's some really serious police matters going along, as we can hear earlier. So anyway, we've submitted our petition to you, and the Parks Department is asking for you to approve a resolution supporting our petition that the neighborhood board does approve dogs in the park. And I'll let Michiko speak.
I don't have much to add. Sandy covered pretty much everything. Sandy already did a great job. And so I don't have much to add, but we would really love if you could please review the resolution and give us your support and put in, I think the chair is going to put it on the agenda for the next month. So we would really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us good news today, and thank you all the dog owners and dogs. Thank you very much for what you're doing, and we hope. And I think there was another neighborhood that mentioned a park in their area that they would like to consider as well, and I'll get back to her before the next meeting too, and pass this resolution on to her. Oh,
I was just curious, are there signs there now? Because he usually lists all the things people can't do.
Yes.
Is there a sign there
It's
saying
a
no
long
dogs?
list and it says no animals allowed.
Okay.
So that is what we want to change. We want to make sure that people leash their dogs, number one, and so that they can control the dogs and also pick up after them. If you don't have your dog on a leash, it's very hard to even know when they poop. So we're asking for both those things.
go ahead.
Thank you. Have there been any reports this year of dogs attacking any of the park users or dog fights or anything this year that you folks know about? And all of these are on leash, is that correct?
Most of the dogs are on leash and we have a lot of responsible dog owners. But one of the reasons we wanted to ask for this, for a formalization and rules saying leashed dogs allowed, is because there are some that are not leashed. And I haven't heard of any incidences that were reported, but anecdotally, I myself, I have a medium-sized dog, and the medium-sized dog was accosted by two large dogs that were off leash.
But there's also a lot of kids in that park playing soccer and using the facility, and there should be a concern about that.
I agree. And I want everybody to be safe. And what we're asking is for us to be able to share in the use of the park in a responsible way. And a lot of the residents there do help keep the park up. We pick up trash and even though it's not our dog, sometimes we pick up the other people's dogs because maybe they forgot their bags. And so, yeah, so we try to do what we can as residents of the park. And we're just asking for fair use.
I just want to quickly share my support. I'm a dog mom and I moved over from Townside and it's been super convenient being able to take my dog up the street to the park up there. So I would love to see that be formally allowed because it's just a nice safe haven. And I always pick up extra poop too. So there's a lot more responsible dog parents than not. So thank you for everything you're doing to make it more dog friendly.
On a practical note, do you think it might be advantageous to look after both lots of people by saying, I'm just going to throw this in there, that dogs are welcomed at certain times? If so, early in the morning, I don't see many soccer players coming in at between 7 and 10, and also at night after 6 o'clock. Would that make everything a lot easier and smoother?
May I just note that the discussion regarding the resolution in this issue, we will have time for that next meeting. So please hold your thoughts and bring them up next time. So we are running a little late, but I really appreciate the work of Machiko and Sandy. Thank you. And I hope you'll come next meeting so that people can ask questions.
Thank you very much.
Do we have a result?
No, not yet. We're going to pass it around. They drafted a reso, but you haven't had a chance to see it.
Oh, okay. It's already drafted.
It's not on the agenda.
Okay, it's for next one. Okay, great.
Thank you.
I just wanted to see if it was written.
Sure.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Are there any other items that from the public?
Yes, hi. Sophia Summers. I am an energy advisor with Hawaii Energy. And thank you, ladies. I will make this quick because I have to get home to my puppy. But I just wanted to come down and share with you guys, if you haven't already heard of Hawaii Energy, we manage the state's energy efficiency portfolio, and our grant application period just reopened. It's been going on for about 4 years. We kind of assess every year if we're going to have it or not. This year we have it. So I brought down a list of all the eligible equipment types. So if you are a small business, a 501c3, if you are a restaurant, you know, you will qualify for these grants. So we have anything from HVAC to commercial kitchen equipment, anything revolving around like booster pumps or some motors. I've got a whole list here. I've got documents I could submit for the record if you need. But I'm just trying to spread the word and help restaurants and help small businesses get like free LED lighting retrofits. I see these are fluorescents. They could use some LEDs. Yeah, I also have some flyers for your home on the residential side as well. And then we also have a STEM-based program. So for any K through 12 students, we can go into their classroom and provide a free energy efficiency workshop. and we have a lot of fun activities for students. But mostly, I just wanted to let you know that our grant is open, and they will be open likely until about April, but until funding lasts. So if you know of a small business, if you have an auntie, an uncle, a cousin with a small business, please feel free to have them reach out to us, and I'll leave my business cards here. Thank you.
Go ahead.
That's a really good question. We are HECO ratepayer funded. So every month, a HECO ratepayer should pay about 1% into the state energy efficiency portfolio. It's called a public benefits fee. It'll be called the public benefits fee surcharge on your bill. Thank you. You pay
Ma'am,
for it.
could you give the information to Zoe Dell? And what he'll do is he'll put it on our Google Drive so that everyone can look it up. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to bring up something? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Nicole Samaniego, and I live at 5952 Kalani Anaole Highway. So that's on the Malka side of the highway. You have to excuse me. I suffer from PTSD. I caught I'm a little anxious, and I've never attended anything like this before. So I caught COVID in 2022 in the line of duty, and unfortunately, it gave me PTSD really bad. So I used to work for Department of Health. I worked there as an public servant in the Environmental Management Division. But as of last week, they fired me. So but I can answer some questions. I used to work in the hazardous waste section as an EHS. But tonight, what I am specifically bringing up is the noise from vehicles, modified mufflers, modified motorcycles, modified gangs of mopeds. Because I suffer from PTSD, it triggers me at night. Not just at night, but during the day. I have tried calling HPD several times, and I have contacted Stanley Chang's office, and nothing can be done except you have to call HPD with a license plate number. Many of the mopeds do not have plates, and they come in gangs, and Sunday being the worst of it. When they go all the way to Sandy's, and they have to come all the way back. The modified mufflers are so bad. For me, I have PTSD, and it's like a gunshot in my house. And it's disturbing. There are noise ordinances, and I feel that there is an unrealistic expectation on the community to actually provide a plate and a vehicle description. Yeah, I'm 100 feet up on the mountain. I don't have Superman X-ray eyes, so I cannot give that information. So these laws continue to be unenforced. I am calling on state, city, and county. I contacted Tommy Waters' office last week to see what could be done, and then I was referred to the two state legislators, Mark Hashem, which I believe we spoke earlier today. Sorry for the confusion. That's not my normal self. I couldn't remember that I contacted you, so sorry. And I also contacted Stanley Chang's office, and I would just like to see a concerted effort between all agencies. The short-term HPD, I would like to see the current laws enforced. It's not, if they're out there enforcing speed with radar guns, the same can be done with decibel meters, instruments. The Department of Health has that. And if they have that kind of technology, I know HPD can do it. It's just something has to be done because it's unreasonable to put the burden on the community. And that's not my Kuli'ou'ou, I'm sorry. I don't have the capacity to even be here tonight, to be quite honest. But I want to get this conversation started. So that's it.
Yes, please go ahead, Sherry.
Just to buttress what Nicole said, I've been going through lots of old paperwork and I found an article from June 2024. And this is a problem that even the Kahala Neighborhood Board and our neighborhood board has been complaining about since since the 80s and the 90s, all the way through. And Richard Turbin's been complaining for decades how to stop them from doing it. So in the Kuli'ou'ou article in the Awe section, away to the motorcycles and other loud vehicles that rev up Kalani Highway on Sunday mornings, that's Saturday night and Sunday mornings. The one day that I have to sleep in and relax and enjoy some peace and quiet. This is through Aina Haina, not in some remote stretch of road. And from the sound of it, many of these vehicles are speeding. And that's the deal. They could do decibel readings. There's no speeding enforcement on the highway. And it's a zoo. And they do go in gangs. Sometimes for fun, they go up Laukahi. I can see them going up. So anyway, I'm just commiserating with you. Sorry about it. And, should have told the police, why aren't you giving tickets to these people? They just have to sit out there and they can see them. Thank you.
Go ahead.
This goes back to my original point about electric bikes and ordinary bikes sort of not obeying or having any rules. It's my understanding that motorbikes, mopeds, electric bikes have to have a license to operate on the road. Now, if that's correct, when you take them in for testing, surely somebody somewhere can make a push that they test the decibel levels of the mufflers. That would be a start, I think, because if you have a motor car, then the muffler is tested as part of that test.
Yeah, I believe so. So I know that the safety inspections are supposed to catch that. But what happens is somebody knows somebody that actually does safety inspections without looking at that or whatever. I don't know. But they get the safety inspection done and then the modifications occur after. So the laws that are in place are not catching what needs to be caught.
I wonder if, and I'm new to the neighborhood board, so are we not allowed to discuss this right now, or is this okay?
Go ahead.
I'm new to the neighborhood board, but how do we get a resolution drafted around this with some solutions suggested?
You just write it.
We just write it and then we can add it to the agenda for the next.
Looks over it and we discuss it.
Okay, yeah, so maybe we can get something going with I just like that some big cities have like detection and then they can automatically take a picture of the license plate, so it's more automated. Or I'm thinking maybe the folks who are illegally doing the safety check approvals or adding the mufflers, maybe at the source, it could be regulated. So yeah, I agree. It would be great to minimize that.
Kevin, go ahead.
I believe a little while ago, I had read or listened to a news article that some of the red light cameras that are being put in or being tested can be modified to for sound enforcement also.
Please, thank you for your patience.
Hi, my name is O Sugai. I'm Nicole's neighbor across the street there from Pico Lagoon. And bouncing off of what you said, I did see a newscast report about the radar that is supposed to detect noise, right? And measure the decibels. A pilot program that they're going to install, like $2 million project. What I want to know is where is it going and are we getting any along our stretch of Kalani So I was hoping that the board can look into that and find out. And if there is a request, I don't know what period they are in the program, but if we can request radars in our area, that would be great for us to jump on board and get on that, Yeah, when the motorcycles are revving up late at night, I can hear them. Especially when there's more than one, right? And they're revving up ready to race each other. And I try to get to the window to record as evidence, but they are super fast. So that is a huge concern. And also off topic off of that, I was wondering a little while ago, a few months ago or so, on the top of our light poles, the city or the state came by and they were installing things on top of the light poles. And I thought they were cameras for speed detectors or something. Not sure. I was hoping that the board could help me figure out what those are for. And, you know, just really what are they for? You know, I haven't seen any movement on those things. So, yeah.
If you might stay and we have Hawaii Department of Transportation hopefully present online later on during and during part of our officials reports. So you might be able to ask them when they come on.
Perfect.
Oh, okay, that's true. Go ahead. Will.
I know we're running behind, but there is a pilot program in Honolulu to do noise detection, and they can track it by the plate. The way the pilot program is set up is initially it is not about enforcement. It's to determine where they need to put the cameras in the future. To my knowledge, we don't have any in this area, but I do know that that program is something that's getting started, but they're not going to be issuing tickets right away.
That's fine, but if we can get on there to have them monitor our area to say, yeah, we definitely want them in our area, that's really what we want. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone who brought up things that need to be that where questions need to be asked and something needs to be done. That's what the neighborhood board is here for, is for you. Yes.
Testing. Okay. I'm concerned about the negotiations happening right now on the military leases with the governor. So 23% of Oahu is actually controlled by the US military. We had the Red Hill spill back in 2021. We are coming up on the 10th anniversary. Well, we passed the 10th anniversary of the 2014 spill. And these spills poisoned 93,000 residents, many of whom are still recovering. And I'm concerned because there is a process. The military leases of quote unquote state lands expire in 2029. There is time for them to go through the process, which includes, you know, a rigorous EIS being done, which they have done. The Army and the Navy submitted have submitted the Navy submitted their draft for PMRF, that's on Kauai, but the Army did submit theirs for Oahu, their final, and it was rejected because it wasn't they didn't address all of the issues. And I brought this up too because we did get an email about a week ago about something about supporting the lease renewals so that we can make a deal for money for hurricane help or whatever, shelters. And so it dawned on me that this isn't a discussion regarding the leases that are happening in the neighborhood boards. Right now, our water has fuel in it. Many of the, our aquifer has fuel plumes in it. I just found out that the Board of Water Supply, I believe like 11 wells have PFAS in it, which is a forever chemical that is carcinogenic. There have been PAHs detected in public wells, in the Board of Water Supply wells, as the plumes move west. In the area, well, I believe they detected PAHs. So it's going to be an ongoing issue. The Board of Water Supply will now have to order GAC filters because of the U.S. military contaminating our water supply. We only have one aquifer. And they have not complied with environmental laws in terms of cleaning up their mess. And Hawaii, as everybody knows, is the capital of endangered species. So I would like to introduce a resol where we do not support these private negotiations, and we push the U.S. Army, whose leases are up right now. I know there's the Air Force leases will be coming up. We push the U.S. Army to continue on with this process. They have time. Their leases are up in 2029. They're using very fear mongering to basically push the governor into this in this short timeline. So they want a deal by the end of this year with the governor on the leases, and they're having negotiations right now behind closed doors. And this is totally illegal. This is not complying with state laws, with environmental laws, with federal laws, with NEPA. None of this. And so is that okay? Can I do a reso?
Yes, please go ahead and draft the reso and remind me, we will put this on a future agenda and have more time for discussion.
Can we have it on the next agenda? Because it is time sensitive. They're planning to have.
Well, send it to me, remind me, and let me put it in when I can, because I think we have a bunch of agenda items already for the next time, but I would like to give it a time.
Okay,
the
well,
right time.
Clarissa, I hate to bring this up, but you sent us an email last week that was in violation of Sunshine Law, asking us to support the leases and support Dudley's editorial. So you brought this up, and now you're telling me you don't know if you can put it up on the next agenda? You should. I mean, you're the one that brought up this whole topic.
It wasn't my reso. The request to review it right away was from one of the other neighborhood boards. I just wanted everyone to take a look at it and see if they had an opinion. But honestly speaking, we have 3 presenters here who have been waiting to talk to us about some important issues, and we need to respect their time and let them go ahead with their.
So I'll just have a conversation with you offline. Outside.
So if you do want to put an item on the agenda, make sure you let the chair know 10 days prior to the meeting, so that it will be on the consideration to put on the agenda.
I would, so we are running late, and I would like the board to consider allowing our presentations to move before the officials' reports. We have 3 presentations, one on pesticide use in Hawaii. The next is by OHA, and also we have an announcement from Holy Nativity School. So would the board, would everyone please say aye or raise your hand if we can modify our agenda today to bring to allow the presentations to take place first? I'll say aye. Okay. Any objections? Okay. So let us go ahead with our first presentation. This is by, I'm sorry, it wasn't Ella. Is Ella here? Oh, hi. Please come on up. I know we had some substitutions on our speakers, and I wasn't sure if you were if someone else was speaking for you today. Hi, Ella.
Oh, hi. No, my name is Yvonne Yoro.
Oh, Yvonne. Okay.
Hi, Olivia. We're both from Representative Caruso's office, but being supported by a program called the Climate Future Forum.
Climate Future Forum?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'll get more information for you folks, but we're here to present to you folks in the neighborhood about pesticide use on our islands. So thank you so much for allowing us this time. And I know we have 5 minutes, so I'll kind of breeze through the slides, but we'll have, we'll add it to your folks' Google Drive so you folks can review the slides thoroughly. So just to start off with a baseline of what pesticides are substances that are designed to kill or deter pests, including insects, weeds, fungi, and rodents. It can be a chemical, synthetic, or biological compound. Chemicals are often more dangerous to human health and the environment. And just as we're moving along to our next slide, we'll focus more on restricted use pesticides because those are being heavily sprayed on our islands, particularly in central and northern Oahu and on West Kauai. But general use pesticides are things that you folks might more commonly be familiar with, such as Roundup. So what are RUPs? RUPs are pesticides that require certification to purchase and to use. So folks need to be licensed. They need to get their license through the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity website, and they also have to be certified to apply these pesticides. They're restricted due to their significant environmental and health impacts. They're mostly, like I said earlier, they're mostly sprayed on North and Central Oahu as well as West Kauai. And in 2019 or 2018, we passed Act 45, which requires reporting of the use of restricted use pesticides annually. And it also requires that bill or act also created a 100 feet buffer zone around schools to protect our youth from these restricted use pesticides being sprayed on parcels. So some examples include 1,3-dichloropropene and metamsodium, which are both soil fumigants used to deter pests in 2019. So these are 2019 numbers, and later on we'll show you a few maps that are also based on 2019 numbers. But if you're interested in looking at more recent numbers, you can visit that on, or you can look on the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity website. So back to this slide. We've sprayed thousands and thousands of pounds of these restricted use pesticides on our islands. And what they do is they contaminate our groundwater. They are prone to drift. So not only are they affecting our communities or schools, they're affecting each and every one of us. They're mostly carcinogens and toxic when inhaled, can cause dizziness, nausea, vomiting, and other side effects. And unfortunately, with Act 45, there came exemptions. So although we have these rules around restricted use pesticides, they don't coincide with neonicotinoids. So neonics are not currently classified as a restricted use pesticide. However, they are toxic to our native pollinators and our birds. They're also systemic and they're placed in seeds and roots that make the whole plant toxic. And most of it is lost in our soil. There's also exemptions to experimental field trials or experimental use pesticides. So major chemical companies such as Bayer, also known as Monsanto, and Syngenta, test GMO crops on Hawaiian lands, which could have adverse consequences on our agricultural resources. And they're exempt from the reporting requirement. So why are we here today? One of the reasons why we're here is to share that Act 45 is not enough, and we are here to just educate the community that we would like to do more leading into the upcoming session. It is a good start, but we can do more in protecting our community, not just our schools, but our community as a whole. Slide, please. Oh, you want to see? Okay.
So hi, my name is Olivia. These are some of the maps from data collected by HAPA, which Yvonne was discussing earlier. So the form at the top is going to be the form that applicators have to fill out annually. As we can see here, the green is what they're required to fill out, and the white is what they're not required to fill out. So things like the time applied, the pests that they were trying to deter, important information like that. On the left bottom, this is a map of Oahu. As we can see, it's mostly concentrated in the north and central areas of Oahu. So the red is going to be where the areas are most highest concentrated, and the orange and yellow are kind of fading out. On the bottom right here, we have your guys' neighborhood. There's no thankfully there's no contamination here, but due to these pesticides, they can still drift even up to a mile, and they are a groundwater contaminant and they are prone to drift. So that's still something that is dangerous. And then kind of the same thing here, just on the bottom right, we have a map showing all the school zones. So again, thankfully, no pesticide parcels close nearby, but yes, there is still drift and groundwater contaminants that could endanger the keiki. So here are some current ideas floating around in our office right now. As we can see, Act 45 is still very insufficient for our needs. So we would like to introduce better reporting to ensure that there's more detailed and accurate reporting, especially if big companies are maybe exempt from reporting due to experimental field trials. Also increasing buffer zones. A lot of these pesticides are able to drift more than 100 feet, and the current buffer zone is only 100 feet. And then also larger fines and punishments, classification of neonotics as an RUP, and then having mandated soil and water testing, especially when affected land is being sold to new companies or people. And then also having transparency in labeling. Sometimes if something says Hawaii grown, it may lead people to believe it's organic and there's no pesticides used, but even then, just because it says Hawaii grown does not mean it is organic. How you can help, consider adopting resolutions. Our office is, we have drafted a resolution and we'll be happy to share that with you folks. I think we might have sent it in an email already. Also share your experience and testify, hold community meetings such as this, sign up for emails and stay informed, contact your elected officials, educate about pesticide use in schools, and stand with farmers, support locally organic farms, and just help other farmers transition into more organic practices. So here, this was an opportunity, it has passed, but Rewild Your Campus is a group that hosts meetings, which you can go to, and they're very for pesticides, especially in schools. But yeah, you guys are welcome to scan the QR code as there might be more meetings coming up. And then here we have some quick links. Here's the HOPA website, some Canva resources we've made for you folks, and also that map series. This map series is from HOPA with the data from 2019, and it just shows where on our island and all of Hawaii actually are these pesticides sprayed. So thank you guys.
Many years ago, I read one of these big articles in our regular newspaper. They talked about farming here in the north of Oahu. They talked about how the people that are doing the pesticide spraying, many of them don't speak English, so they don't know how to read the instructions, so they guess. And sometimes they use it undiluted, full strength. Sometimes they do it 2 to 1 when maybe it should be 100 to 1, or, you know. And one of my suggestions is that you add to that there be mandatory training for anybody who handles pesticides that are going to be sprayed. Because if you don't train them, you have no idea, no matter, this is lovely, but they have to be trained, and they have to, even if they don't speak English, someone has to go and tell them in their language, this is how you're going to do it, because it's very dangerous. And they also included in that article about how there's a lot of spraying of pesticides around the schools that have, you know, especially up on the leeward coast, have big areas of grass, and they spray pesticides because they don't like to mow a lot. And then that's, but no one has air conditioning, so the windows are open and it goes into their classrooms. So it's just, I hope we take a vote tonight, and I'm going to support this. And there has to be training. That's only thing I would add to it.
No, I thank you so much for that comment, and I appreciate, yeah, what you were sharing about having more regulation and like helping farmers or educating farmers to understand what they're spraying and how it's affecting them as well as the community. I do want to commend the legislature for the work that they've done last session. I know it's a good start, but with adding all those positions to the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity, I think that helps with increasing regulation and like checking these farms and farmers to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then a note on the resolution. So I know it's not an agenda item, and I know you folks won't be able to take action tonight, but I do want to share that it is in the draft stage. So if you folks have concerns and want to talk about it more and like ways that it can be more beneficial for your community and like tailored to your community, that would be really helpful too.
Thank you both so much for presenting, and to Representative Peruso for kind of championing that. I just want to share, I've been here in Hawaii since 2010, and I think a lot of us who have been here remember in 2013 the fights that happened against the large chemical companies that were poisoning our communities across Hawaii, and how hard it was to pass some of this legislation, and that all the legislation that was passed was fought very heavily after. The ones we have now are not enough because of the loopholes that the industry put in place. So I just know how hard this fight is, and how tough the opposition is, and how much money they have behind them. So we'll be super happy to support. I sent a note to you folks that it would be great to add a clause about the city and counties use of pesticides and herbicides, because a lot of that stuff is being sprayed on city and county lands. I really worry about our public parks. It's not just the groundwater, but it's also the runoff. It's our health. I worry about our dogs. They're using the grasses at these parks, and the exposure that they're having in all those places that they spray pesticides and herbicides in public lands. So not just for state action, but also for city action. This is something I'm really passionate about. So really appreciate you coming, and would love to support this when it comes up.
If I can add something, I lived in Papua New Guinea for 11 years, and it became obvious that some of the big giant multinational chemical companies were coming in, deforesting, selling the timber to Korea and Japan and China, not reforesting, but using it as test sites for some of the most outrageous chemicals. And eventually it was put a stop to. So it crossed my mind listening to everybody. Do you think it's a supposition that maybe Hawaii is being used in a similar fashion? Because when I hear you say quite blatantly that some of these companies do not have to report, it puts the hairs on the back of my neck up, because that's how we found out what was happening in Papua New Guinea. Secondly, do you have strong links with the Department of Health? And are you able to access some of the records? On a personal note, is brought home, but my wife suffered a miscarriage 20 odd years ago. And now my son's wife had a miscarriage 2 weeks ago. But talking to the people in the hospital 2 weeks ago, it was suggested that they're finding a huge increase in miscarriages. And I would honestly point you in that direction to see if there's a truism there and if it's linked, because there's only one source of water, basically, and we have to share it. Thank you.
Question from Janine, please go ahead.
I was involved with trying to get the legislation passed against the GMO companies and their pesticides, but I wanted to say the reason why I was so fierce against it is because after I got married in 1981, I became pregnant, and with my oldest son was born in 1982, right when Del Monte was spraying their highly toxic pesticide heptachlor on their pineapples and then serving the pineapple tops to the cows, and the cows were eating it and their milk became contaminated. So it still upsets me to this day, 40 years later, that my son could die of something that I drank, that my doctor was telling me to drink more milk to help my son, and yet what I was doing was very bad for him. I've already had cancer. So, I mean, I'm not worried about myself anymore, but I still live in fear that my son will get cancer from the milk that I drank because it had that pesticide, which is now no more. nobody can use it anymore because it was determined to be such a highly bad pesticide. So whatever we can do, I will support you 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask the board, if everyone has read this resolution, have you had a chance to look over it? No. I was just wondering if we were ready to vote on it, but it sounds like we should postpone voting on the resolution till the next meeting. Yes, go ahead, Kawi.
I did read it and I corresponded with Rep. Peruso's office about it. I do not support it in its current form. There's a couple of sections that have to do with the coconut rhinoceros beetle, and I actually have not heard that the solutions they suggested are effective, and I'm very concerned about the coconut rhinoceros beetle in our. So I think plus Doré brought up some things, so I think we should take the time to work on it and tailor it, and then work on it and then vote on it.
Thank you for drafting the resolution and looking into these matters and trying to make our community safer, especially the children. Can you please? Okay. I was wondering if you could just check our draft and see if we have our next agenda, and I'll try to let you know, but it would be good if you could come to the meeting that we're going to discuss this resolution at. Thank you. Yes, Kevin, go ahead.
With regards to the restrictions in school areas, would that prevent the public schools from treating, let's say, termites in the building, or let's say on an athletic field to treat weeds that might be interfering with the sports play? And occasionally I hear of insect infestations that are affecting the kids that get into their hair and other things. Would they be able to treat those infestations on the school grounds?
So thank you so much for the question. So with Act 45, that's specifically for restricted use pesticides. So having a certification, being a licensed applicator, and it doesn't allow for that to be sprayed on public school property. But that doesn't mean that general use pesticides can't be sprayed. That could still be sprayed on fields, and doesn't have the same requirements and reporting as what is outlined in Act 45 for restricted use pesticides. And then on the note about termites, I know that neonicotinoids are being used to treat termites, or certain neonicotinoids and other pesticides are being used. So we'll have to look into that more to see how that fits in, but I don't think that affects the school's ability, especially if it's an enclosed space. So fumigant, but it's like you're tenting the building. I think that's still allowed.
Thank you. So I really appreciate you coming and talking to us today, and we probably will have more questions for you in the future. Appreciate you coming. Our next presentation will be by Bill Brennan from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Give us an update on what is happening in our communities.
Mahalo,
Thank you for your patience.
Yes, of course. I'm a patient man. Wasn't always that way, but I think I've aged into becoming patient. But thank you. You know, we were here a couple months ago, Trustee Kaka and I, and that was our inaugural visit to this particular neighborhood board, and several OHA staffers are making their way around the island to just be more in the community and to keep people informed about activities that we have going on. A lot of people, you know, say, what does OHA do? What do you guys do? And so this is kind of our effort to get out and let more people know just what it is we do. So I have this presentation that we put together for tonight, and it's the one that I think we're taking through all the things. You can read along if you want. I don't necessarily need to read every page, but just to let you know that the work we're doing with cultural properties and protections, especially as it deals with Iwi Kupuna. Iwi Kupuna is a huge issue for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We try to educate people. We nominate folks to serve on the island burial councils. We intervene on behalf of beneficiaries who are concerned about development projects in various areas of the island and the state. I know recently we're very involved with something over on the windward side at the 330 Kuli'ou'ou Road affordable housing development. We're kind of pushing for stop work orders as opposed to allowing the developer to continue working while we deal with the Iwi Kupuna issues. So we're trying to work closely with Shifty on that. And that's just why I know you have a similar issue here in the Wailupe Peninsula, right? That is something that we're involved in and try to get on the side with the city and let them know where we stand with that. And I know, Kalani, you're very involved with that, and we're working closely with you, and Trustee Akaka has been very involved, and that's kind of the work we do. I've only been at OHA for 10 months, but I see, and I used to be a TV news reporter. I'm aware of Iwi Kupuna issues, but it really resonates with a lot of our beneficiaries. It is, for many, the number one issue, and for some, the only issue that matters. And so OHA's participation and advocacy for protection of Iwi Kupuna is a high priority for our organization. We have a strategic plan, 15-year plan went into effect in 2020, goes through 2035. So we're a little ways into it, but the four areas that we try to deal mostly with and try to address for our Native Hawaiian beneficiaries, there are 2 H's and 2 E's. There's housing, there's health, there's education, and there's economic stability. We have a lot going on in those areas. We're, work closely with trying to get Native Hawaiians into housing. We've come up with a mortgage assistance program working with American Savings Bank, and we're about to announce some of our initial success stories. It was 6 months ago we put the program in place, and people for the first time are becoming homeowners on Oahu, on Molokai, on Maui, on Big Island. That's been a very successful program for us and one we want to keep the momentum rolling. I know OHA also, to your point earlier about the military leases, not only on Oahu, but Hawaii Island as well, taking strong positions opposed to the renewal of those leases, or at least the EISs that have been submitted in support of trying to, extend those leases. That's another area of work that we're involved in. Those are just kind of some of the updates that I have for you. We're in a new budget cycle. It started July 1. There's extra money this time around for Hawaiian-focused charter schools. There's some extra money in for actually the employees at OHA who haven't had a raise in 5 years. So the Board of Trustees has implemented a telework policy, the pay raises. There's 3 months paid family leave, which no other government entity here in Hawaii has, making it a place where we can recruit and retain good workers to do the work of, doing doing the work to help Native Hawaiian beneficiaries. So I hope to come back, on a either regular or irregular basis, and provide updates. I don't mind coming monthly, as other elected representatives and stuff do, or the fire department, police department, et cetera, with just little updates, since last time kind of thing. But some of that is over my head, and people say, no, we'll only go every other month or whatever. I don't mind. I think it's important for us to be in the community, to answer questions and let people know what we have going on. So I'll leave it at that. I know you're running late. As I say, I've been patient and don't mind being that. But happy to be here to provide information about our office and the work that we do.
Thank you.
Sure. Mahalo.
Does anyone have any questions
Hi,
for
Frank.
him? No,
Okay.
not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you very
Yep.
much. Jean from Holy Nativity.
Good evening and thank you. I'm just here on behalf of a coworker who's recovering from surgery, so I'm speaking in her stead. My name is Jeannie Wilkes. I'm actually head of Holy Nativity School, which is just next door. We've enjoyed a lovely relationship with the neighborhood board, and I'm thankful for that. I was before you a few years ago talking about our safety concerns about Nenue Street, Nenue Place, which runs through the middle of our campus. And with that, we had great response from HPD, Department of Transportation, and Tommy Waters, where we've had additional signage, additional humps. We still have issues, but they're working with us, and we're hopeful that that'll eventually be resolved. On a similar but different note, I wanted to share with you that on October 18th, we have our annual Pumpkin Festival. So that's a time where we open our campus to young families, and we want to have as safe an opportunity for families as possible. And so with that, we've requested to do what we did in 2019 before COVID, which is to close that section of Nenue Place that does cross through our campus. So that's basically past the Starbucks little driveway there and then to that stop sign. So it would just be for the portion of the day that has our festival in it, which would be about 7 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Again, we did that in 2019. It went well. We've learned a lot in the 13 years that we've had the Pumpkin Festival. So we've been very mindful about being good neighbors. We communicate out with the neighborhood, let them know when we're having the festival. Parking won't be an issue. We park on our own Lani Osco field over here. And we're just seeking board report as part of our due diligence, as we've spoken with folks at DOT and HPD in order to have that temporary closure of the road.
Thank you. Are you going to put signs up ahead of time, a couple of days ahead of time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that'll be great for the kids.
Thank you.
All right.
And come on down. You're welcome to. Admission for children is just $10, and you get a free pumpkin, and you can play all the games and have shave ice and lots of goodies. So we'd love to see you.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other concerns or issues that we want to bring up before we go into announcements? The only announcement I have is relating to when our next meeting is. Do we have any other announcements? Yes.
Hi, my name is Alex. I guess regarding the pesticide thing, I just wanted to interject. So, the buffer zone, maybe you should have some kind of like a thing where if it's over 10 miles per hour, there's also no spraying, within 100 feet. But I hate to beat a dead horse, but regarding the noise, from our living room, we're about 100 feet back and 150 feet up from Kalani Ole, neighbors with Bill and Nicole there. My decibel meter reads over 100 decibels. A jackhammer is like 110 to 120. The conversation is 50 to 60. An amplified conversation like this is maybe 60 to 70. So to have, these noises over 100 decibels is very, surprising and shocking, so appreciate if we could put a little effort towards the noise.
Thank you.
We can take a couple of the officials' reports. Which officials do we have with us who we, apologize for having to hold off this long. Dave, hey, Dave, go ahead. Good to see you. Okay, Dave and Dita. All right, who wants to go first?
I'll defer to you, Chair.
Okay. Dita, as Mayor Blangiardi's representative, you actually go first on our agenda, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Mahalo, Chair, and congratulations, Vice Chair. Dita Hollyfield, Director of Enterprise Services. It's an honor to be here this evening. I was worried out my battery in my phone was going to die, so I'm appreciative of getting to go first. I did take some notes, copious notes this evening on behalf of everyone. I do think I can have some assist and information I took down to support the dog park. I'll try to talk to Director Thielen about supporting the resolution. Also, the lights out on, I wrote the street name down. I will check in on why that's taking so long. I also would like to talk to DLM, the Department of Land Management, to see if there's anything that we could do on behalf of the neighborhood and the fire that happened at the house. I'll try to find out some stuff about that. The paint cans, I will try to find out. And then someone referred right at the very beginning of the Wailupe stream, and I will speak to Director Albano for those concerns as well. As far as past business, Member Stanton stated that the residents from Kuli'ou'ou approached him with the concerns of speeding from cars that not only are out of the gated community, but also from cars that come up the hill. DTS's response, the Department of Transportation has completed their investigation into the board member Stanton's speeding concerns, which include a speed survey and a review of the area's traffic collision history. We apologize on behalf for the belated response, DTS says. Currently, DTS controls speeding through the use of proper signage and enforcement by the HPD. Their study confirmed that motorists are traveling above the speed limit of 25 miles per hour southbound in the vicinity of 5380 Paola Street. DTS will be requesting the assistance of HPD to monitor the area and possibly install a driver feedback trailer to inform motorists of their speed. The driver feedback trailer is that digital sign that you see when it says 35 and then you go past it and you're like, oh no, I was at 37. So that is the report that I have this evening for Member Stanton and the response.
Thank you for your help, Dita.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the mayor, for Dita? Not at this time. Thank you.
Yes. Have a great evening. Mahalo.
You too. Okay, next we have Dave Day. He represents Governor Josh Green.
Good
Dave.
evening. Good evening, everybody. Hi,
It's
and
good to see you
good
again.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Dave Day, Special Assistant to the Attorney General. Congratulations, Vice Chair Lucas. It's always a pleasure working with you. I know that we're running late. I wanted to just bring everyone's attention. There was a discussion earlier about mental health, about a specific individual, and then a discussion with the officer about the circumstances in which an individual can be taken into basically for an examination. There are actually several different provisions in the law that relate to what's called emergency transport, which involves a person who appears to be imminently dangerous to self or others. It seemed, I'm not going to speculate on the specific circumstances here, but it's more than, there are other avenues for bringing someone in for an examination beyond a police officer observing somebody acting in a imminently dangerous to self or others fashion. And that includes obtaining an ex parte order from a court by an individual who has some sort of relationship with the person. Along with an examination, a physician can call an ambulance if they examine the person. And there are services that are available in that regard. That's all in Chapter 334 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. And so I just basically wanted to at least bring to the attention that there are other avenues available for individuals who appear to be dangerous to self or others. But besides that, I'm really just here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Dave?
The thing that really concerns me, is this on? Okay.
I can hear you.
I never touched it, honest. Dave, the thing that really concerns me on the outside looking in, God forbid, with all these shootings that are going on, the outstanding issue to me is the firearm. Because on one instance, I'll be honest, I wasn't really impressed with the answer given by the law enforcement officer that, you know, if they are sending people into danger, they have the capacity to look up all of our records. So we're not really impinging on our individual rights. All of our rights outweigh that, in my opinion. But I feel there's something should take place here. God forbid if that guy gets it in his mind that we're all against him, for example. My background is psychology. And they can find a self-righteous way in which to arm himself and do something. And I'd hate for that to sort of take place. But I'm going down a rabbit hole there, and I hope to God I'm wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave, do people have the option to call anyone besides HPD when they encounter a mentally unstable neighbor? I mean, there's a mentally unstable person in their neighborhood who's setting fires and has a firearm on their premises.
So of course, if you're dealing, we're now just speaking in hypotheticals here. I can just speak about the law. When in general, when you're dealing with somebody who is imminently dangerous to self or others in a way that's actually threatening to someone, obviously, I think that the proper course is to call the police in the first instance, as they're the ones that can do something if there's something actually, a potential current threat. The phrase imminently dangerous to self or others is what's known as a term of art in legal definitions and in mental health law. A person who's imminently dangerous to self or other does not have to be dangerous in that moment. And by what I mean by that is, under the law, the person doesn't, for instance, need to have a gun to his head or be pointing a gun at another person. What it means is that the person is suffering from severe mental illness such that within the next 45 days, the person is likely to become dangerous to self or others. And so this is one when, if you're dealing with somebody with a mental illness, and maybe isn't acting in a violent way right away, it doesn't mean that the person doesn't satisfy the legal standard for taking the individual in for an emergency examination. That being said, there have been anecdotal evidence that some law enforcement officers view the definition slightly more conservatively than what the law allows, but that's nothing against anybody. That's just sort of the anecdotal evidence that I've heard. And that's not to speak with a broad brush either. It's just something that I'm aware of, reports of that there have been. There are these other methods which I discussed. And so the former section of the Hawaii Revised Statutes was 334-59. It was recodified last year. I don't have the exact pinpoint site on this. But there are other methods for a person to get help even if they are not pointing a gun at their head or pointing a gun at somebody else. And some of the sort of examples that were given by the officer were in fact correct. And those are kind of the more egregious examples: people lying in the street, unconscious, people walking in the street, people behaving threateningly to, well, those are the easy cases. The more difficult cases are the ones where you have an individual who is not taking care of themselves in a way that they have, for instance, festering wounds, or in other ways are behaving in a way where they may become dangerous to self or others within 45 days. The other methods that I mentioned involved getting what's known as an ex parte order from a family court judge that the person is, that basically that you've presented sufficient evidence that there's probable cause that the individual is likely to become or is imminently dangerous to self or others under the meaning of the statute. And that does not have to be a police officer. That order can be obtained by a whole host of individuals, from parents, and it's usually people with connections, parents, doctors, physicians, I believe even clergy can present that evidence to the court for a determination. The second method is where a doctor examines the individual and determines that the person is imminently dangerous to self or others, is suffering from a severe mental illness or substance abuse, and would likely benefit from treatment. In such a case, that doctor is empowered by law to direct the transportation of the individual to an emergency room for an emergency examination. Now, at that time, during the emergency examination, there's a period of time in which the hospital determines whether or not the person needs to be committed to a hospital or not, or otherwise treated. And so there are these other methods that are available besides calling the police. But obviously, if it appears to be an emergency situation, obviously, or even if you're just thinking it may be an emergency situation, then by all means, I think the number one course of action is absolutely to call the police.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Richard first.
Hi,
Richard, are
thank
you
you.
still on?
Yes,
Hi.
thank you. First of all, Mr. Day, I very much appreciate you providing that information. That was probably the most clear bit of information that we've heard all night regarding this matter. So really, really appreciate you bringing that. What I actually wanted to say was I learned today that the governor had reinstated the State Building Code Council. Just want to thank you folks for that. It's been too long, and very much appreciate getting back to having updated codes for our community. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I remember, I think it was maybe a year ago that you asked the question about that, and I'm glad that eventually there was a resolution to that. So thank you.
We have a question. Kalani, go ahead.
Hi, David. I just wanted to ask, is there any update on the negotiations between the governor and the military regarding the leases? Is that going on, and like how often are they meeting, and has any decisions been made? And when should we hear about anything like coming out of that? Also, sorry, one more question. There was a press conference yesterday by a group of Native Hawaiian groups who are saying they want to seat at the table or whatever. Is there going to be, I guess, room made for them? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm just writing down your questions.
It's just questions. I just want to know. That's
Yeah,
all.
and so my answer is that I don't know anything more than what's been publicly reported. So what I can do is inquire with the governor's office and respond next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sharing your wisdom and for hanging in there, Dave. We love hearing from you, and thank you for participating in our meeting tonight.
Absolutely. Take it easy.
Okay. That is it for officials' reports. So closing announcements, our next meeting will be on October 1st. same day of the week, same time. And we may have to think of getting a bigger place if more people want to attend our meetings, which is a great problem to have. I wanted to bring up the possibility of getting a picture of the board members who are here tonight. Would that be okay with you guys? Can we get together quickly? Okay, so let me go ahead and adjourn. This meeting is now adjourned, recording off, and let's get a quick couple pictures.